Well, in the sixth round, Jake Paul gets obliterated from a right hand from Anthony Joshua as Joshua breaks Jake Paul's jaw.
Right, Eddie. So, no. What'd you think? Good fight. Yeah, good fight.
When former heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua stepped into that ring, he was about to teach the world something important about the difference between internet fame and legitimate boxing greatness. Jake Paul had spent years building his reputation by cherry-picking opponents who were decades past their best, creating this fantasy that he could hang with elite fighters. But that Miami showdown changed everything in the most brutal way imaginable, with 3 devastating knockdowns that exposed the massive gulf between a content creator and a real champion. This wasn't just another payday or marketing event. This was a reality check delivered with surgical precision, a demonstration of what authentic championship-level skill looks like when it meets manufactured hype. That final moment with Paul unconscious on the canvas told the whole story in one devastating frame. The era of pretending was officially finished.
Get this nigga out! Yeah! Woo! Come on! Get this nigga out of here, bro!
Why is Anthony Joshua trying to, like, prolong this fight? This nigga taking it down on this.
To really grasp why this beatdown felt so satisfying to genuine boxing fans, you need to understand the outrageous disrespect that happened before they even touched gloves. That Miami arena was buzzing with this weird energy, like the Paul team thought they owned the sport itself. Here you have Anthony Joshua, a man who unified heavyweight titles and headlined massive events worldwide, facing the most dangerous punchers alive, somehow being positioned as the secondary attraction. The absolute audacity was staggering. They actually made this legend of the sport walk to the ring first, treating him like some unknown prospect instead of the accomplished champion he is. A former unified heavyweight king, reduced to playing second fiddle to a YouTuber who started boxing for social media content.
Began nearly 6 years ago with a first-round knockout. The former Disney star hopes to foster a fairy tale ending.
The disrespect reached peak levels when Paul made his entrance with that controversial rapper, turning the whole thing into what looked like a TikTok production. The message was crystal clear to everyone watching. This wasn't about boxing tradition or sporting excellence. This was about creating viral content and Instagram highlights. They were transforming the holy ground where boxing legends are forged into their personal content studio. But while Paul focused on his entrance music and celebrity friends, Joshua was in that ring, watching this circus with the cold calculation of someone who knew exactly how this story would end. Boxing legend Layla Ali had already stated it would be genuinely embarrassing if this went beyond 4 rounds. And you could see that expectation weighing heavily on the champion. He wasn't there to win a decision or survive 12 rounds. He was there to send a message that would resonate throughout the entire sport.
We're licensed to kill. I'm sure many people don't understand it, but this is what my job is. And I just enjoy what I do. Whatever happens, happens. As long as my hand's raised, that's what's important, right? Respectfully. That's just the mentality we have to have as fighters. I don't know if any other fighter thinks that way. Maybe they're a bit more tame. But the things I watch and the way my mind works, when you're in that ring, it's a dangerous place to be and anything can happen. And you hope your opponent leaves the ring safely, but if they don't, you know, you still have to go to bed at night knowing that you just done your job. It wasn't personal.
The opening bell revealed the skill gap immediately, but not quite how most people anticipated. Paul wasn't trying to fight. He was just trying not to get destroyed. Through those first 3 rounds, this so-called problem child wasn't causing any problems whatsoever. He spent his time running scared, constantly moving sideways, desperately trying to maintain distance from Joshua's power. He created this illusion of competence because he wasn't eating clean shots flush on the chin. His corner and fans started believing he genuinely belonged in there with a world champion. Paul managed to avoid the big bombs, land a few body shots that looked decent on camera, and do just enough to avoid complete annihilation. His constant movement and clinching actually made Joshua look frustrated and impatient, like someone who couldn't figure out the puzzle.
Jake Paul.
Paul 3 of 5 in round 3. Joshua 7 of 25. There's a jab from Joshua.
Was it frustrating for you to watch?
Oh, I mean, maybe, like, obviously, when someone's moving like that, like, it's going to take you a while to get hold of them. And when they're rugby tackling you, but he had to do what he had to do to survive, and he did that. So, you know, it's very difficult to go in like you know, out the ring for 14 months and just be razor sharp with a guy running. And so, yeah, probably 2 or 3 rounds more than expected. But fair play to Jake Paul. It was a lot tougher than I thought, and he took a lot more shots.
This is what makes fighting someone like Paul so dangerous for elite boxers. His survival skills are actually pretty decent for someone with such limited experience. During rounds 2 and 3, you could see the frustration building in Joshua's approach. He was headhunting, loading up on massive power shots, trying to end everything with one perfect punch, but Paul kept slipping away at the last second. The YouTuber was running for his life, sliding out of range, grabbing and holding whenever Joshua got close. For a genuinely scary moment, longtime boxing fans wondered if this influencer might actually frustrate the champion enough to steal some rounds. Paul was even talking trash between exchanges, flashing that smug grin like he was controlling the action while landing these pity-pat shots that couldn't hurt a fly. But boxing isn't about how well you avoid confrontation or how good your highlight reel looks. It's about what happens when the ring shrinks and there's nowhere left to hide. Round 4 is where everything started falling apart for Paul, where the carnival atmosphere died completely. Joshua stopped desperately hunting for the knockout highlight and started boxing with patience and intelligence. A sharp, educated jab snapped Paul's head back hard, a reminder of the massive power difference between a legitimate heavyweight and a social media star. All that confidence vanished from Paul's expression instantly, like someone turned off a light switch. He started hitting the deck repeatedly, claiming slips and knee problems, anything to buy himself recovery time. It was the first real sign of panic, the first crack in the facade. The grabbing and holding tactics that had worked early weren't effective anymore. Joshua was walking him down like a machine, systematically cutting off the ring, turning that massive Miami canvas into a tiny phone booth. The crowd sensed the momentum shift, felt the energy change. The fairy tale was ending and the physical reality of sharing space with a genuine heavyweight champion was setting in hard. Then round 5 arrived and everything exploded at once. This wasn't competitive boxing anymore. This was a demolition job, a reminder that levels exist in this sport for good reason. Joshua found the perfect home for his uppercut, a shot that seemed to rise from another dimension. It connected flush and Paul's legs turned to liquid underneath him. He tried grabbing and holding, dragged down by the sheer force of impact. But Joshua wasn't finished yet. He caught Paul rushing in recklessly with a perfectly timed overhand right that sent him crashing hard to the canvas for the first official knockdown.
But in the 6th round, you could just tell that this fight was over. You knew that Anthony Joshua was going to eventually land something that hurt Jake Paul. And you know how you know the boxing world wanted it to be brutal? Because Rosendo was sitting here and he goes, I hope he gets knocked out bad. He didn't want him to get TKO'd. They wanted Paul to get absolutely destroyed. And honestly, that right hand, oh my God, he took all of that right hand. You could see in his face, he was like, okay, now I understand boxing. Now I understand, like, at its worst, what boxing can be. Because he got hit clean by one of the biggest punchers, acclaimed, a lot of accolades, world champion heavyweight, and he went down and didn't get up. And honestly, I was hoping he didn't get up because it was only going to get worse. I thought Francis should have stayed down when Joshua hurt him bad. But a lot of times fighters just don't really want to give up on themselves, and that's why they get hurt worse. But it was exactly what it needed to be tonight for this fight and for this fight. It was fun. It was crazy at times with the wrestling and all the grabbing and the clinching, the referee saying the fans didn't pay for this shit, all the dirty tactics.
The atmosphere inside that arena turned absolutely insane in seconds. Paul scrambled up as quickly as possible, his eyes wide with genuine terror, looking desperately for an escape route that didn't exist inside those ropes. He tried running, literally turning his back and moving away like he was being chased by a predator. But you can't outrun elite heavyweight power when a champion smells blood in the water. Joshua hunted him down like a shark, landing another crushing right hand that carried bad intentions. Down went Paul for the second time, 2 knockdowns in 1 devastating round. The referee looked ready to stop it right there to protect Paul from further damage. Paul was stumbling around that ring like someone who'd lost their balance completely, barely surviving until the bell saved him from more punishment.
I could not be happier with the fact that Jake is safe, and more so that he showed his heart. I don't know if you guys were looking on Twitter, but until about 20 minutes ago, the #1 trending thing on Twitter wasn't Jake Paul getting knocked out, wasn't Jake Paul, wasn't Anthony Joshua. It literally was the phrase, respect for Jake Paul. And I can tell you guys, I have so much respect for that young man.
Most fighters in that condition would have quit on the stool, but to his credit, or perhaps his stubborn foolishness, Paul answered the bell for round 6, looking like he had something to prove. This is where the moment that will live forever finally happened. Joshua wasted 0 time opening the round with a vicious 2-piece combination. A hard right followed immediately by a sickening left hook that echoed throughout the building. Paul went down for the 3rd time, collapsing to the canvas. Any reasonable referee should have waved it off immediately, but somehow Paul got back to his feet, on unsteady legs. Then, in a moment of complete insanity that nobody could believe, he taunted Anthony Joshua, sticking out his tongue like a playground bully, acting like those punches hadn't affected him, trying psychological warfare with someone who was already bored and ready to finish the job.
Jake Paul. Like, Jake Paul done what anyone would do if they stepped in the ring with an experienced fighter that they know they can't compete with. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if me and you was to spar, if you want to not get KO'd immediately, you don't stand in the middle and engage with me. Why would you do that?
I'll take my chances, to be fair.
Fair enough.
No,
hugging.
Make it ugly as you can.
What else are you supposed to do? You're clearly not going to defeat me if you decide to box me. So you have to use something else. That's what Jake done. He done it for as long as he could. He realized AJ's strong. I'm not going to battle with him in the clinch. I'm just going to drop to the ground. As I've said, my guy, that referee, he refereed Jake and Neeson Gibb. He knows that ref. He thought that ref would allow him. In his mind, you see when you're the A side and you ain't seen the dirty side of boxing, you think that everything and everyone around it's in your favor. He thought that referee was going to let him keep falling, pick him up, dust off his gloves, and continue the fight. When the referee said to him, bro, stop doing that, he was thinking, oh my God, even the ref that knows me, yeah, is on me. AJ's on me. My corner's on me. The ref's on me. I'm getting tired. This guy's strong. Like, that is literally what happened. But who could blame him, though? Like, I rate Jake for doing what he done tonight. Like, he lasted for as long as he could, and that was the mission.
That taunt was the final mistake he would ever make in that ring, the last nail in his own coffin. Paul threw a wild, desperate overhand right with everything he had remaining, but connected with nothing except empty air and false hope. Joshua simply reset the distance with a short, chopping right hand, measured his target perfectly, then unleashed the finisher that would end everything. A monster right hand, clean and devastating in its accuracy. It connected with the sound of destruction, that sickening impact that makes you cringe. Jake Paul didn't just fall to the canvas, he was completely deactivated, like someone pulled his power cord. He crashed face first, totally unconscious, before he even hit the ground. The commentators screamed in disbelief as medical staff rushed in from every corner. No count was necessary. No standing 8 count, nothing. The referee immediately waved it off and called for medical assistance. The arena erupted in this massive combination of shock and thunderous approval. The experiment was over, in the most brutal fashion possible. All the taunts, the celebrity entrances, the disrespect of making Joshua walk out first, it all ended with Paul unconscious under those bright lights, while Joshua stood victorious above him.
I'm just so proud of him. My mom has it.
Your brother gave everything he had in there. That takes real courage.
The weights have taken that right hand that only took one.
I'm just so proud of him. That was incredible. In my view, that was a victory on all fronts.
Wow.
Like, minus the actual victory, obviously, of course, but bro, like, no one expected him to last 6 rounds with AJ. In my opinion, he won 4 of them. People will argue that he at least won 3. No one expected him to last that long. Rolled his ankle, broke his jaw, still fucking fighting, man. Like, that's toughness. You know, most people wouldn't have the balls ever to step in a boxing ring to bring in their life. He stepped in a boxing ring with one of the baddest men on the planet, who's 40 pounds heavier than him and 6 inches taller. That's insane. He's one of the most skilled fighters on the planet. My brother, as a fucking YouTuber, went 6 rounds with him in a fight with a broken jaw and rolled ankle. I'm so proud of him. That was just unbelievable.
I saw you talking crap to AJ at one
Bro,
point.
I'm trying to get his head. I think I pissed him off. I was just saying fuck that shit. I love AJ.
Yeah.
But bro,
I saw you going on the fight game.
I was talking so much. But I just pissed him off. Then he broke my brother's jaw. Fuck this guy.
Broke his jaw, huh?
His jaw. He don't care though. Jake's having a fucking blast.
We'll definitely see him compete again somewhere down the line. In those immediate moments after, as Joshua stood in the center of the ring, barely breathing hard and looking like he could easily go another 6 rounds, the entire combat sports community took a moment to process what we just witnessed. 3 knockdowns in less than 5 minutes of actual warfare once Joshua decided to stop playing games and showcase his real skills. It was brutal, violent, and absolutely necessary as a reminder that legitimate levels exist in this sport, clear separations between amateurs and professionals.
Pro boxing fans, Rolly Romero, Jake Paul knocked out by Anthony Joshua. How you feeling?
Jake Paul has a lot of heart, bro. He kept getting up, you know. Like I said, Anthony Joshua too big for him.
What did you think of the fight before the knockout? Sorry.
Jake Paul landed some good shots.
Were you surprised? Yeah, Rolly.
Like, man, I'll tell you like this, man. Jake Paul landed some good shots. Honestly, man, he got up how many times?
4, 3, 4.
And that's not even his weight class.
What did you think of Joshua's performance? People were saying he should have let his hands go more.
It was Jake by the bag, right? It was Jake by the bag.
Rolly, did he hold back a bit with the right hand? Why didn't he throw it more?
He was afraid to get caught by Jake. Jake kept landing it right over on top of his head.
Rolly, what's next?
It was a good fight, though. Real good fight.
You want to see AJ against Fury next?
Yeah. That'd be a really good fight over there in Wembley.
You're going to be there on the undercard?
What do you think about that?
I don't fight undercards.
What do you think about that performance? Yo, Gypsy boys! That was fucking weak, right?
I don't know. Jake Paul showed a lot of heart. He got backed up.
You can hire the most expensive trainers available, carefully select the most winnable matchups and favorable stylistic opponents, and sell out the biggest venues in the world with your brand recognition. But you absolutely cannot purchase the chin, the heart, or the authentic skill required to travail against a former heavyweight champion who has faced and conquered the elite competition in the business.
First of all, are you surprised that it took that many rounds for Joshua to eventually get him out there?
I'm not surprised because I was with Jake last week in camp and the way he was moving, cutting off the ring and then, making those sharp attacks, like the bigger guys are having troubles with it. And I knew it would take a while to get his timing. And, the goal was to get to the middle part of the fight. Get out of those first couple rounds when Joshua was most dangerous. Joshua, credit to him. He continued with the pressure and continued doing it, and Jake slowed down a little bit. And it's a process. Going to fight heavyweights and, like Joshua, it's very difficult just to jump up from cruiserweight and fight those kind of guys. So I'm not surprised it took Joshua that long. I'm really proud of Jake for biting down for 6 rounds. Nobody thought he'd go that long. Nobody did. I just feel like he wasn't able to really get into Joshua's rhythm a little bit because Joshua's huge and he was giving him troubles. But it was a good fight. Congratulations to Joshua, and he did what he had to do.
There was obviously hardly a punch thrown in rounds 1 and 2, but that kind of suited Jake as well, didn't it? As well, and it frustrated Joshua, you could see, for a little while there.
It did. You got to keep the big man turning. You can't stand there and trade with AJ. He's a big guy. So, the key was keep him moving, keep him turning, get Joshua to, he kept turning so he couldn't load up on the punches, and Jake was going to pick his spots. But we weren't really too concerned about the first couple rounds. We just wanted to get through to the third, get to the fourth, and then make a fight out of it. And Joshua was able to keep the pressure on. And it seemed like Jake maybe, I don't know what happened when he got hit with the shot. He kind of, like, something weird happened with his knee. He was kind of fighting different after that. I don't know what happened, but, congratulations to Joshua. He landed a big jab the body right hand up in the 6th round. And, Jake got it in the 6th round and learned a lot from it.
So what does this completely humiliating defeat mean for the so-called problem child and his boxing aspirations? He demanded these deep waters, called for this fight specifically, and drowned spectacularly on the biggest possible stage. This wasn't some questionable decision that fans could debate endlessly on social media or some lucky punch that caught him off guard. It was a systematic, methodical dismantling by a superior athlete. Many critics and analysts are suggesting he should seriously consider walking away, hanging up those gloves, returning to the podcast studio, and enjoying his wealth while his brain remains intact and functional. Others believe he'll attempt spinning this disaster, claiming he went toe-to-toe with a legend and lasted 6 rounds, trying to salvage something positive from the wreckage. But the video evidence speaks for itself. The footage is there for everyone to witness. When legitimate power connected, when Joshua decided to end the show, the influencer crumbled completely. This fight demonstrated once and for all that while you can manufacture hype through social media and create viral moments for content, you absolutely cannot fake the ability when that bell rings for real. Anthony Joshua restored proper order to the boxing universe, put everything back in its rightful place through 6 violent rounds of education.
Absolutely, positively pathetic, a sham of a boxing fight. Anthony Joshua knocked out Jake Paul, and you might think, we expected that. And you did, except AJ knocked out Paul in round 6. Round 6. Anthony Joshua, who knocked out Francis Ngannou in like 2 rounds. Anthony Joshua, who's one of the all-time great boxers of his generation, he carried Jake Paul to 6 rounds before knocking him out. And before people say, oh, well, this is a freak show fight, who cares? This was not an exhibition. This was not an exhibition. This is a real fight. And he allowed Jake Paul to survive for 5 rounds while Jake Paul was committing fouls, trying to take him down, all this stuff. It was absolutely embarrassing. And have some shame. You got paid millions of dollars by DAZN. You got paid millions of dollars by Saudi. Why did you need to do this to your legacy, AJ?
Honestly, pathetic is the only description that fits this entire spectacle. But what's your take on this absolute circus that ended in complete disaster? Does this truly mark the end of the influencer boxing phenomenon? Or will Jake Paul somehow attempt mounting a comeback from humiliation this severe? Because that image of him unconscious on the canvas is pretty hard to erase from people's memories. Drop your honest reactions in the comments below. Smash that like button if you enjoyed today's breakdown of this incredible knockout. If you appreciated the detailed analysis, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss our coverage of the biggest moments in combat sports. Don't forget to share your thoughts and predictions in the comments, because we genuinely love hearing from our community. Stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next breakdown.
What do you think? I think he did what he had to do. He went out there, took his time, chased him down, unloaded, and got the knockout. So it's what we were expecting. I thought it'd be earlier, but he got the job done. So congratulations to Joshua.
What's your reaction?
It happened what it needed to happen. What it was supposed to happen happened tonight. Jake Paul, credit to him, he survived for 4 rounds, but I mean, we kind of knew what was gonna happen.
But where does Jake go from here? He showed a lot of heart.
I mean, he did show a lot of heart, but again, he didn't land many combinations. He ran for 4 rounds. He ran around the ring for 4 rounds. He got tired and he got knocked out. It's part of boxing. A lot of experience in the other side, obviously. And again, what needed to happen, happened.
So where does he go from here? Does he take on?
Jake Paul can still do a lot of things, but you know, it's different when you fight MMA fighters than when you fight real fighters in the boxing ring.
Absolutely. Well, he showed a lot of heart. Now, what about Anthony Joshua? They're talking about him and Tyson Fury going to a matchup. The fight is bigger now, right?
Man, I hope so. I hope it happens. It's a fight that a lot of people have been wanting for the longest, so I'm excited for 2026.
Talk to your fans of Puerto Rico. What's going to happen on January 31st?
Man, January 31st, Puerto Rico and the world is going to see the youngest unified world champion. So I'll see you guys soon.
Wow, I think the Jake doing an amazing job, you know, and the big responsibility is for Joshua, not for Jake, you know, but the people need to respect Jake, you know, and imagining Jake little big and having more time to training for this fight, you know, I think Jake improved a lot. The people need to respect him. I don't say that only because I'm fight here in a company, but it's because Jake, the people need to respect Jake, you know.
That Jake Paul Anthony Joshua fight, huh? I don't know what to say, man. I haven't seen the reaction online. Something Something's up, yeah? Anthony Joshua didn't throw a single straight right hand for 6 rounds. He didn't cut off the ring. I'm trying to make sense of it. It's tough to pin a guy down when he's on his bike and Jake was moving so much. I'm trying to be cool. It was weird, right? Something's up. Even the knockdown where they called it. Anybody who's ever been concussed, I've been there. When he got knocked down, the first thing he did was look at his brother and say, "That was a good one." When you're concussed, you really don't have the brain power to do that. I don't know, man. It was disappointing. Super disappointing. Super disappointing. Kudos to both those boys. Get your money. Get your bag, boys. So I'm not mad at anybody. I think they both made like 90 mil. Get your bag. Well, I got some questions. Right?
Just quickly, do you think he should have taken him out quicker than he did?
Can't say that, man. Man's been on 15 months. Jake Paul is good enough to make it interesting. He's not just going to stand there. He's tough. He got grazed with a couple of shots early on.
Hey, what you think about it, Doug? Hey, Doug, what was your reaction? What was your reaction to the fight? You want to see Jake again? Any reaction?
To go past five rounds is a wrap.
What you think? What did you think?
Garbage.
I'm coming in.
That was horrible.
And he took it well. So, it's that's basically how I thought the fight was going to look. Anywhere between 4 and 6. But it's a fun fight. It's a fun fight for what these fans came to see.
What would happen if you were in the ring with Jake Paul tonight?
Man, I can't call it, bro. I'm not going to do that, man. It's about them tonight. And I think it was just a fun fight, man. Some good moments, some fun moments. And it was a good fight. It was a fun fight.
How does Edge call Jake Paul?
Can't call that, man. I think he's just, I can't really compare him to a real fighter. Like, I respect that he really is trying to be better. He's got real guys in his camp, bringing real guys into camp, fighters. He's got real trainers. And he just found a lane for himself. It's a unique lane. It's a lane we've never seen before. He's made money. He's made impact. And he's helped other people, too. So, thank you.
Next, what's your reaction? I'll walk with you. What's your reaction? What's your reaction to this knockout? What's your reaction? I got you. I'm walking with you. What's your reaction to this incredible knockout?
Well, I wouldn't call it an incredible knockout. I would call it a matter of time.
A matter of time, right?
A matter of time. And you got to realize, Jake Paul had his hands down.
Yeah.
He was basically waiting for that knockout.
Absolutely.
He went 6.5 rounds with Anthony Joshua, one of the best in the world.
And got up like 2 times.
No, it was sick.
Talk about that. I mean, there's other heavyweights that have caught that right hand who haven't got it.
The Ngannou, so many people, bro. The overhand right. Jake's got a tough chin, dude. I think he does whatever he wants after this. He just has such big balls, dude. He had to keep moving. That was the only strategy. People are gonna say he ran around the ring. They don't know. They don't understand fucking boxing.
One day y'all gonna realize there's influencers, and then there's real. There's Larry Wades that get ready for Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. No disrespect. And there's Coach Stets, who's been there for every undisputed. And the greatest fighter of all time, Terrence Boyd Crawford. Not hate, no hate given. I'm just saying what's real. And spoken for. Y'all gonna realize one day, when it comes to that SEC shit, I'm him.
Scott, what's your reaction to this incredible knockout? Jake Paul showed a lot of heart. He went up to fight Anthony Joshua. You got to give him that, right?
Yeah, 100%. You got to give Jake his credit. He was very brave. He kept getting back up. He wanted to stay in the fight. But what happened was exactly what was meant to happen.
We waited quite a while since many people expected something totally different to go down.
Jake showed a lot of courage, but the better man won. On to bigger, better things for AJ in 2026.
Where does Jake go from here? Should he fight cruiserweights, no heavyweights anymore?
Yeah, I think he'll be better at cruiserweight, but he made a good account of himself. He boxed well, but if that's your game plan, you've got to be able to do that for 8 rounds, not 3.